Stories is a big word. When you say we're going to tell stories, we think of a huge, great, immense story that will weave in and out of our talk. That can be really powerful, but we could break it down and just say we're trying to illustrate a point. Illustrations are making the point that we're talking about, but in a way that it forms a picture in the mind of the audience. So our illustration could be a story that weaves all the way through our talk, or it could just be to make that one point. The other day I was talking about driving, and I used an illustration about a sat-nav to make the point of the journey we were on. It's very simple. It was just for that one point, but it helped people to take away what I was saying. But if we did want to use a story to weave through our talk, well, then we need to think about what we're using. And to do that, we need to use a 3-part framework. So it goes like this. You need the hook, always starting with the hook. Something really catchy, something that will really get the attention of the audience. And the best kind of hooks are the ones which focus on the struggle, the curiosity which people will have, or the transformation that somebody had. If we think about it in those terms, if it's a struggle, well, we're talking about pain points, aren't we? Things that people maybe are experiencing in their life. If we're talking about the curiosity, opening up a curiosity gap, our brains naturally want it to be filled in. So we can go down that route, fill in the curiosity gap. Or transformation. So somebody's gone through an experience and they've turned into something completely different. And then the idea is, because this is hooking them, I would like that transformation. You then get the opportunity to bring them back and say, how did they get to that result? Next is the journey. So the journey will be taking from that hook through the challenge, the conflict, what happened, how did you feel, using these basic elements to go from beginning to middle to end of a story. We want to keep it brief and succinct, but the idea is we start at the beginning after we've opened with the hook and walk them through the story. And the third part would be the takeaway. What was a principle of the thing, the story, that people can then use to apply to themselves? We need it to be a principle, because if it is a hard and fast rule, it doesn't always apply to everybody. But a principle you can draw the points out of and apply to yourself no matter what situation you find yourself in life. Now, I'm really thankful that you have joined this video, that you're here listening to what we're talking about today with talking about stories. And I want you to be able to craft excellent stories, not just to use in your next talk, but to use in every time you speak in public. And this can be not just speaking on a stage, but it can also be when you speak to people one-on-one. And I want you to be able to do this and have fantastic stories to really engage people all the time. So to do that, I've put together a brilliant guide to storytelling that you can keep. So it's almost like I've written out the notes for this video in a PDF guide that you can download and keep for yourself. Go to the description of this video and find the link. You can download that for free. It's your personal copy. I want you to take it away, keep it forever, and use it to be able to craft perfect stories, engaging stories, and stories that will authentically connect you with your audience so that you can make an impact. Go get it. It's yours. Have it for free. But now you need to connect it to your talk. It needs to have a theme. The story should have a theme. Anything could be a story, by the way. So let's just talk about your everyday life. You could be talking about how you were in the coffee shop and something interesting happened. That's great. No problem. The stories don't have to be this huge thing that happened to you. It doesn't have to be, I went on an around the world trip and here's the story. First of all, that's going to take ages. And second of all, that's not relatable. People don't always go on round the world trips, but they regularly go to coffee shops and they could regularly experience something similar to what you've been through. So it's just about trying to think outside the box. Think about what happens in my life that I could talk about in the frame of a story. So your story isn't just about you. Really, it's about your audience. We should always be audience focused. We don't want to be focused just on ourselves. We need to be focused on them. They are the priority, not us. Okay, so what can your audience learn from the story, the illustration, the experience that you went through? So here's a question you could ask yourself now. Maybe pause the video and ask yourself, what's the one thing I want my audience to feel when they hear my story? Your voice matters. Your stories matter. And I want you to get on stage and confidently tell your stories of everyday situations that happen to you, because they will make the difference in your next speech. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button, share it with somebody if you think it will be helpful, leave a comment, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next video.